Hey everyone, you are listening to the Self-Awareness Journey podcast. This little banter is about a car ride long and features your hosts, JJ Parker and Melissa Albers. JJ owns a tech company and Melissa has been a coach working with influencers for the last 18 years.
Melissa, we're rolling out the Self-Awareness Journey 12-week program to my company.
Yes, I know.
Right? So
next
we've
week.
done this twice before to two other companies, right? We think it works, right?
Yeah.
We're pretty proud of it.
Yeah.
We've had really great feedback.
Yes. Exactly.
And we have, I'd say like our program down, right? Like it's 12 weeks. Employees get an email once a week that has a lesson. It has like a podcast. It kicks off with a video from, like the CEO. And it's pretty great.
With employee reflections videos too.
And we're and we make these videos from with the employees. It's really awesome.
It's super cool.
And so what we thought is, actually my leadership team, when we were doing quarterly planning, said, hey, we'd love to do something on mental health. And I was like, cool. Why don't we just do the self-awareness journey? Because like, here it is. It's like, Melissa and I can just do it. And so I committed to that and we started working on it last week. Right. So it's like my two little worlds are combining, right? My little like tech software company world. And my side project self-awareness journey world.
Feelings, emotions.
Together.
Right.
And I was getting so anxious last week, like crazy anxious about it. Like to the point where Mitch was collecting and making the employee reflections videos. And he's like, hey, you should watch these. These are pretty good. And I couldn't even watch them. Wow. Right? Like, and you and I recorded my my kickoff video because right, the formula is that the CEO or the leadership kicks off the mental health program.
Right.
Well, for my company, that's me.
Right. It is. That's true.
So we recorded it, and I'm the guy that has to edit it. I edited it. I didn't even watch it. I just like, okay, where's the cut? Where's the front? Where's the end? I didn't watch the middle. I don't know why I have such a block around it. Like I'm just like super anxious about it rolling out to the team.
Yep. I can understand that, first of all, like, but I think it isn't as much anxiety as I think there's probably some deeper things in there. You and I have talked about this a little bit. We've skirted the issues of these, some of these feelings that we get when we're in creation mode. And it is scary. First of all, it's scary to put this stuff out. Like, it is scary to put out these deeper messages of how we actually feel, like our authentic, raw creations. I think that's really scary. And to do so amongst peers or people that know us from something else or something different, it has its own component of terrifying reaction.
Yeah, right? Like there's so many just like emotions I have about it. It's like that's an interesting one I never thought of, is like, am I struggling with like JJ has a persona as a tech CEO and also has this other self-awareness journey like persona or something, and they're colliding, right? Or they're gonna get mixed up. I don't know, maybe that's part of it. And also putting your art out there, right? This is not maybe the typical kind of project I'd work on,
right,
with my my software team, right?
Yeah.
With my tech team.
Right. Well, what do you
Like, what if they
think?
don't like it?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, what do you think is the source of the anxiety for you, other than so the idea that they'll see you as a different kind of person that they saw you before?
Maybe. Um, Although I don't think I'm that different at work than I am here,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but it could be that.
yeah,
There's definitely an element where like I would say I'm way more open during the podcast than I
sure.
am
Yeah,
just like day to day,
yep,
right?
yep.
I do tell a lot of work stories,
Mhm.
so they're gonna all hear the stories I tell sort of about like my number one source of content, which is them.
That is not completely true. That is not
It's only
completely
partially true.
true.
I know the other
Yeah.
source of content is my family.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Well,
Well,
first of
so
all,
there's that, right? So there's
mhm,
those things
yeah.
swirling around.
What
Um,
else? You think there's more?
well, and I want it to be good. I want it to be helpful. The point of it is the
I know.
point of the self-awareness journey and everything we're doing is to help people,
Yeah, I feel that way.
right?
I feel
We've
very
seen
strongly
it
that
help
way.
people in other companies, but now I'm bringing it to like my own company and like I don't know, like if the self-awareness journey content and everything like sucks,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
If it doesn't resonate,
Yep.
um and like the people and everyone who's listening to the podcast now, they're like, "Oh yeah, this isn't for me."
Mm-hmm.
Um that's okay. Like that's okay for me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna take that too personally. I think like generally being an artist, I like have grown to be pretty resilient to
Yeah.
like not everything's for everyone.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
you're better at that
but
than I am, for sure.
when it comes to this with like my team who I've spent the last, some of them 15 years with,
Yeah.
the idea that like I would bring this project in and they would not like it
Oh,
would
yep.
feel really uncomfortable for me and
Yeah.
really like the place where I've felt the most comfortable and accepted and part of would like reject a thing I made.
Hmm.
Right? I
Yeah.
think that's like a big source of anxiety right there for me.
Well, I totally get that because I'm an executive coach. Right?
Yeah.
So here we're talking about feelings and talking about human interactions and talking about how we process things and how we improve. And I mean, talk about having anxiety that something's not good enough. What if the self-awareness journey sucks and my current clients all of a sudden say, "Oh, Melissa, you're not as good as I thought you were. You're not the person I thought you were."
Mm.
Right? That's
Yeah.
really scary. Not only for my revenue, my P&L,
Mm-hmm.
but more importantly in this conversation, my ego.
Right.
Like I would find that crushing if this journey wasn't as meaningful as I thought it was. If
Yeah.
our art isn't as good as I think it is. That would be
Yeah.
crushing.
Yeah.
So I think this is pretty normal. I mean, it's got to be really normal to feel like this, don't you think? Listen to me trying to normalize it so I feel
think.
better.
I
I'm
don't
feeling
know.
very uncomfortable right now. Can you please just make me feel better?
Well, so what we're both dancing around is that we have it's like a confidence thing.
Yeah,
Like
I think so.
it's a confidence thing.
I think so. I think, or the worry that it could take a notch out of what confidence we've already built.
Mm-hmm.
The worry that, and this is entrepreneurship at its finest. We're always playing the edge of crashing and burning or being wildly successful. That there's just,
Isn't there an in-between on the stage? Come on.
Not as an entrepreneur. Do you think there is? I don't
No,
know.
I
You're
know
moving towards the
firsthand
direction.
there's not.
And remember, we have substantiating evidence from our past too that would make us feel a little more uncomfortable. You know, we talk about it in the other pods that we had a startup company that did not succeed in the way that we wanted it to.
Yeah.
And we had great lessons and it was very successful in a lot of ways, but not in the way that we had pictured that it would be. And so here we are again, right? We do everything we can to not call this a business. We call this our art project. We do absolutely everything that we can to keep it just light and easy breezy, even though the topic is really, it can be very deep.
So my anxiety about that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So like my anxiety around bringing this to the team might be like around like my self-confidence about it, the like being accepted within the team, like my fear that it won't be good enough, right? How do all these feelings creep up all the time? Even when we're like, you know?
Well, I actually have a theory about that.
What's that?
My theory is that things come up in us when they're ready to be cleared. A lot of times I don't think, I always say there's so much further to go, and there really is. We can talk about the same topic 10 times and it's never the same topic because there's always more to see. There's always more. And I always say it's kind of like cleaning out your closet. You'll go back and you'll find a shelf that you missed. Or you'll find something in the back corner that you didn't realize was there, and it gives you a chance to kind of clean that out again. And I think that as we emotionally develop and become more aware of ourselves, we recognize that our confidence and our esteem is built from within, not from without, and not from others. And the last vestiges of that control, it just keeps coming up until you're, and I think when it comes up for us, and it doesn't matter what the topic is, it's coming up for clearing again. It's like we have an opportunity to really understand this and make decisions to say that thinking isn't serving me anymore.
Oh, that's a really good way of looking at things. Actually, you know what? I never really looked at it like that. Like how, like I think a lot of times I would look at anxiety, and I don't get anxiety a lot, so I don't deal with it very well. But I always looked at my approach, my tried and true approach is trying to stop it and avoiding it.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
That's what I've done my whole life. But you're saying, and maybe actually like even talking through it with you now, which is something I normally would not do, is you're saying, hey, like lean into that anxiety, bring it out, start thinking it through, and think about why maybe it's happening, and like work on it and move on from it, and ask like, is it still serving me? It's not. Like actually, I would say that like avoiding confidence, or not having self-confidence and then avoiding it has really not served me very well for 40 years. Right.
Well, actually, I would say that...
Or maybe it served me well for a little while, but it hasn't recently.
Yes, because you've outgrown the way that you have handled things in the past, because you've developed beyond that making any sense for you anymore.
Yeah.
But instead of feeling like we're failing because it's coming up again, it's like, how come I keep having this happen? Why can't I just get over it? It's like, rather than that, it is... Well, that's interesting because here I am again, and I really don't like thinking like this anymore. Like, I don't really feel like this is helping me. It used to make me produce better. It used to make me produce faster. It used to make me feel like I was doing something. And now it just makes me feel yucky.
Hmm.
You know, I don't think either that it's necessary to enter into this kind of self-conversation in a warrior state, because I think that's what a lot of people do is they gear themselves up like, I've always been like this and I'm going to fight that. I'm not going to, you know, fake it till you make it. And, you know, I don't really think that that is necessary. I think being gentle with ourselves and saying, you know what, boy, oh boy, the last couple of days have not felt very good. And I wonder if it's because I'm ready to move on from this. And this is just up for clearing again. Maybe I'm ready now. And maybe this way of thinking isn't really serving me anymore. And could that be okay for me? You know?
Yeah.
Like, isn't that okay? Isn't that actually indicative of growth in every
That's a
possible
great way
way?
to look at it. Yeah. That's a really great way to look at it.
Because I
Yeah,
think
I would
that's
say
truth.
a lot of times I do put the brakes on my emotions and these things, and you're right. Like we do use a lot of more like aggressive words around it,
Oh, I know. I mean,
right?
yeah, the whole you know, and like Tony Robbins, and there's just this warrior energy that goes behind personal development
Hmm.
that spurs people on, you know, and that's not all bad. I don't mean it in a negative way, but I just think in stuff like this, we have to be kind to ourselves and give ourselves enough space to say, oh, you know, I actually think that this doesn't feel good anymore. Not because I'm not professional at this kind of behavior. I am, but I just recognize that this behavior doesn't fit at all anymore.
Mm.
And that's okay. And if it keeps coming up and the examples get harder and harder to deal with, and every time I have that feeling, it's worse, it's probably because I've really outgrown it. And that's okay. That's really, really awesome. Because something is replacing it. Something will be right behind it. That feels a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah. So it still feels, for me, it still feels a little awkward.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we're gonna start sending out the self-awareness journey 12-week program on Monday. All the videos are done. Everything's all set. I didn't watch any of it.
I watched some of those employee videos, and I have to tell you, they are absolutely fantastic. Your employee base is so awesome. But I really mean it. Like, I was watching a couple of them and I was like, wow, I wonder if we could get permission to use these so other people
if we
could
only
see.
knew someone high up at that company.
If we could ask permission of those employees and just say, you guys, this was so good. Can we use this as an example for other people of what's available?
Well, that's good to hear. That makes me feel less anxious. Maybe
Yeah.
I should go watch them.
Oh, the other thing I did note about yours, which is hilarious, is every one of your people have extremely good sound quality and video on there.
Weird. I wonder why that is.
I have no idea, even though they're all working from home, because when we've done this with other companies, we're like, oh, they're from home. Oh, we can't really hear them. It sounds like they've got an air fryer going on behind them.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, I don't think I don't know. I'm not over the anxiety. This is helpful.
Yeah.
This is helpful to put it in a little bit more context for me. I wonder how many good ideas get killed right at this moment, right? Where people don't have, frankly, the bravery to just get through it.
I agree.
Right? Like often, how high would my anxiety have to get for me to pull the plug on this whole idea?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Probably not a lot higher.
Yeah. I heard that. What you just didn't say. I totally heard every word. You know what, though? Don't you also think it really helps because we are in partnership together? There's more than just one. It's not just you by yourself. It's not just me by myself.
Oh yeah, if I would have done this somehow by myself and then there's no way.
No.
Until you and I had this conversation, I was right on the edge.
and we would not be this far in the self-awareness journey if you had not been there for me, because I was like, nope, no. And you're like, let's just do a podcast. And that was your way of being gentle and empathetic with me, because I was like, hell no, I'm scared. I'm straight up scared.
Well, that's a super good future episode where we should talk about how creating things with a partner is super helpful.
Yeah, we'll definitely put that on the list.
There is always yin and yang to these projects, and
yeah,
when one is up, the other's down, and when the other's down, the other's up.
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of amazing how that works out. Mm-hmm. So, okay, sweet. We will continue.
So you're going to let the emails out
on Monday. We're going to let it go.
Ooh, we dodged a bullet.
Everyone should stay tuned to a future episode where, if it doesn't go well, I'll be having an absolute fit about it,
and a massive hiring event.
yeah, right. Thanks, that's super helpful.
What could go wrong?
So stay tuned. I guess we'll give a status update in a few weeks.
We hope that you've enjoyed today's episode. Our mission is to help people become happier and more effective by gaining insight into their own thoughts and feelings. We'd love your support. First, share this podcast with anyone you think might enjoy it. Second, leave us a rating or review on your favorite podcast site. This helps others discover the podcast so we can reach more people. And third, sign up for our newsletter at theselfawarenessjourney.com. This will help us communicate better with you and build our community. Thank you so much for joining us in the Self-Awareness Journey. We'll see you next week.